This episode of Soldier Knows Best is brought to you by Netflix. Hey, what's up guys, Soldier Knows Best here. This is my full review of the iPhone 5C. This is the younger brother of the iPhone 5S, if you want to say that. But this phone was launched right alongside its bigger brother, the iPhone 5S. And I'm going to see where this $100 iPhone, with a 2-year contract of course, but where this $100 iPhone stacks up and how does it perform. But first, we're going to take a look at the design and the hardware of this thing. And the main thing you'll notice about this new iPhone 5C is that it does feature a plastic shell. So it is polycarbonate and it feels really nice. And that's not just because of the material, but also the way that Apple has kind of melded the edge of the plastic and made it very seamless with the display itself. So when you grip it with your hands, your fingers kind of just slide over the edge. Now also adding to the good feel of this phone is that it does have a little weight to it. It does come in at 4.65 ounces, and that's up from the 3.95 ounces that you found in the iPhone 5. And then this phone does come in 5 different colors. You can get it in white, pink, yellow, blue, and green, and the colors aren't really as bright as they may seem in the commercials that Apple show, which may be a good thing in some people's case. It may be a bad thing, who knows. Now, Apple's also selling their iPhone 5C or Connect 4 cases because of the way they look. These cases have holes in the bottom of them, and it just kind of look weird. I guess it depends on the color combination. This black and yellow doesn't look too bad, but you do have that option, but they're very expensive. I don't recommend them at all. But overall, as far as the build quality, I would say that the iPhone 5C is the most durable, or probably the one I'm least worried about dropping and scratching and breaking out of all the iPhones that I've ever used. So this iPhone 5C is something that you probably won't need a case on at all. Now the internal specs of the 5C are pretty much identical to the iPhone 5s. It does feature the A6 processor, 1 gigabyte of RAM, LTE, Bluetooth capabilities, but also you will find that it doesn't have a 64 gigabyte option as far as storage. So if you want the most storage but you don't want to pay for the 5S, you may try to find an iPhone 5 for a cheaper price. Now in my benchmarking test, I compared the iPhone 5C and the iPhone 5, and I found that the iPhone 5 in most cases did edge out the 5C in my test using Geekbench and 3D Mark. So even though the 5C is newer, it is slightly slower than the iPhone 5. And also the display on the iPhone 5C is the same exact display that's on the iPhone 5S and also on the iPhone 5, so you're really not missing anything in that department. And now moving on to the cameras, the front-facing camera on the iPhone 5C is slightly better than the iPhone 5s because you can now record 720p HD video and you can still take 1.2 megapixel front-facing photos. But as far as the rear-facing camera, it's basically the same whether it's in the iPhone 5, so you don't see really any performance enhancements with it, but it's still a really good camera for the price. All right, now jumping right in on, it's going to quickly talk about the software category because this iPhone 5C is also one of the phones that is running iOS 7. But now I don't really see any performance improvements from the moving from the iPhone 5 to the 5C as far as everyday usage, but it still runs it very well. I don't have any hiccups or lag or anything like that. And it still comes with all those useful features that you find in iOS 7, from the control center and also the revamped notification center. All the app icons do look differently, but kind of match the brightness of the colors of this iPhone 5C. But for the most part, you find all those enhancements that I've talked about in my iPhone 5S review and also my separate iOS 7 video. So I'm really not going to spend too much time on that. I will say that iOS 7 is still something that you either like or you don't like, and it's the same thing here on the iPhone 5C. So iOS 7 on the iPhone 5C really isn't any different from what it is on the 5S or the iPhone 5. All right, so let me go ahead and wrap up my review of the iPhone 5C. Now, what we have with this phone is probably the most durable iPhone that Apple has ever launched, but also too, the color combinations may turn some people off, and some people may have preferred just to have the iPhone 5 at the $100 price, or at least get maybe a black color, some other colors on the iPhone 5C. Again, that sounds weird coming from me, but for the most part, I would say the iPhone 5C, again, is a very durable phone. It does feel awesome in your hand. So this phone is good, not great, but it's a really good phone and a good alternative to spending $200 on the iPhone 5S. So again, you can get this phone on all the major carriers from AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, and T-Mobile here in the United States. And again, it's $99 on a 2-year contract. So with that being said, this has been my review of the iPhone 5C. Please leave your comment down below what you think about this phone. And thanks for watching this video, guys, and I will catch you later. Peace. And today's sponsor is Netflix. Now, if you don't know, Netflix is the place to go for streaming movies and TV shows, no matter where you are, to your cell phone, to your TV, to your Xbox, your PlayStation, your Nintendo Wii. Almost every device right now has a compatible Netflix application where you can watch this content on the go. So they have thousands of titles to choose from, so you'll never be bored. If you want to get a free trial membership right now, you can go to netflix.com/soldier. Again, that's netflix.com/soldier to get your free trial membership.